Welcome to Magic Tale World, where every story comes alive with wonder. Let's open the book and begin our adventure together.
Once upon a time, long, long ago, in a beautiful German town called Hamelin, something terrible happened. The town was nestled by the river Weser, with tall, colorful houses and cobblestone streets. But one day, the people of Hamelin woke up to a very big problem. Rats. Not just one or two, but thousands upon thousands of them. They scurried through the streets. They swarmed into the houses. They nibbled on the cheese in the kitchens, and they even frightened the cats and dogs. The rats were everywhere. They were big and small, brown and gray, and they made a terrible squeaking noise that filled the air day and night. The people of Hamelin didn't know what to do. They tried setting traps. They tried chasing them with brooms, but nothing worked. The rats just kept coming. The mayor of Hamelin, a stout man with a very important-looking chain around his neck, called a meeting in the town hall. The townsfolk were all there, shouting and complaining. "We can't live like this," cried one baker. "The rats are eating all my flour." "They're scaring my children," yelled a mother. The mayor promised he would find a solution, but deep down he was just as worried as everyone else. Just then, a strange and wonderful sound filled the town hall. It was the sound of a pipe, playing a melody so sweet and magical that everyone fell silent. The doors of the town hall swung open, and in walked a very peculiar man. He was tall and thin, dressed in a coat of many bright colors, half red and half yellow. He had a long feather in his cap, and a gentle, knowing smile on his face, and in his hands he held a simple wooden pipe. "I am the Pied Piper," he said, his voice as calm as a gentle breeze. "I have a special gift. For a price, I can rid your town of every single rat." The mayor, desperate, looked at the piper. "A price? Name it. We will give you anything." The Pied Piper thought for a moment. 1,000 gold coins, he declared. The mayor quickly agreed. 1,000 gold coins it is. "Just get rid of these pests." The townsfolk cheered, hopeful for the first time in weeks. So the Pied Piper stepped out into the main street of Hamelin. He raised his pipe to his lips and began to play. It wasn't the same tune he had played before. This one was different. It was a sharp, shrill, and enchanting melody that seemed to whisper and call. And as he played, something amazing began to happen. From every house, from every cellar, from every corner of the town, the rats started to appear. They came out in a great, long river of fur, their little eyes gleaming. They forgot about the cheese. They forgot about the bread. All they could hear was the magical music of the pipe. They followed the piper, mesmerized. As he walked through the streets, the piper led the giant procession of rats down the main street, past the town square, and straight towards the great river Weser. He never stopped playing his tune. The people of Hamelin watched from their windows, their mouths wide open in disbelief. The piper walked right to the river's edge, and one by one, the rats, still hypnotized by the music, plunged into the water and were swept away by the current. Soon, not a single rat was left in the town of Hamelin. The Pied Piper had done it. The town was free. The people came out of their houses, cheering and dancing. They hugged each other with joy. The terrible squeaking was gone, replaced by happy laughter. The piper, his work done, walked back to the town hall to collect his payment. He stood before the mayor and the town council. "I have done as I promised," the piper said. "Your town is free of rats. Now I will take my 1,000 gold coins." But now that the rats were gone, the mayor had a change of heart. He looked at the piper's strange, colorful clothes and thought, "Why should we pay so much to this wandering musician?" The mayor laughed. 1,000 gold coins. That's far too much for simply playing a little tune on a pipe. We'll give you 50 coins, and you should be grateful for it." The townsfolk, who had been so happy just moments before, now grumbled in agreement with the mayor. They had forgotten their promise. The Pied Piper's gentle smile vanished. His face grew dark and serious. "I do not bargain," he said, his voice low and cold. "You made a promise. A promise must be kept. If you break your word, you will regret it." But the mayor just shooed him away. "Be gone with you, piper, before we give you nothing at all." The Pied Piper turned without another word and walked out of the town hall. He stood once more in the center of the town square. The sun was setting, casting long shadows on the cobblestone streets. He raised his pipe to his lips again, but this time the music he played was different. It wasn't the tune for the rats. This melody was soft, sweet, and incredibly beautiful. It spoke of magical lands, of candy mountains and sparkling streams, of games and endless fun. It was a sound that no child could resist. As the music floated through the quiet streets of Hamelin, the doors of the houses opened. But it wasn't the parents who came out. It was the children, all the children of Hamelin. From the toddlers just learning to walk to the older boys and girls, heard the pipe's call. They left their toys. They left their suppers, their eyes shining with wonder. They gathered around the Pied Piper, laughing and skipping to his music. Their parents watched from the windows, frozen, unable to move or call out. It was as if the music had put a spell on them, too. The piper, with his procession of happy dancing children, led them through the streets, just as he had led the rats. He led them out of the town and towards a large mountain just outside the walls. As they approached the mountainside, a secret door, a magical glowing cave, opened up in the rock. The piper walked inside, still playing his enchanting tune, and all the children of Hamelin followed him in. When the very last child had entered the mountain, the magical door closed shut, leaving the mountainside as solid as it had ever been. And then the music stopped. The silence that fell over Hamelin was heavier and more terrible than the noise of the rats had ever been. The parents, finally free from the spell, rushed out of their houses, calling their children's names. But there was no reply. They ran to the mountain, but there was no sign of a door, no sign of the piper, and no sign of their beloved children. They were all gone. The people of Hamelin had learned a terrible lesson that day. A promise is a promise, and it must always be kept. From that day on, the streets of their town were quiet and empty, a sad reminder of the day they broke their word with the Pied Piper. And they say that if you listen very carefully on a quiet night Near that mountain, you can still sometimes hear the faint, sweet sound of a pipe and the distant laughter of children in a magical land from which they never returned.
Thank you for watching Magic Tale World. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more magical adventures tomorrow. See you next time!